whenever I want to get really extra and nasty and exotic, Niyah Marie comes out. Jackie, but my alter ego name is Niyah Marie, and I always encourage anybody that comes to the studio or anybody that wants to take on the pole journey, have an alter ego name, because it's easier sometimes to tap into that sexy vibe when you kind of disconnect your everyday working person life away from that name. So so Niyah Marie is my stage name, but you can also call me Jackie. I'll probably answer to Jackie more than I will Niyah Marie.
My stage name is Zen Oasis, and I go by Zen. And I'm an instructor here at Spice Pole and Aerial Fitness. I teach intermediate classes for the most part. I teach flexibility classes. I also do competition training.
She teach all the things. So, as the owner of Spice Pole and Aerial Fitness, let me just say, all I wanted to do was do pole. That was it. That was my motivation for opening up a pole studio. I saw a need, the type of pole that I like to do, which is more intermediate, it's more tricky. It's like kind of like all around pole. I felt like I needed something like that in my community, and so that's how Spice came about. Once I opened the studio, I realized that as an entrepreneur, you don't just get to do what you're passionate about. Now you're going to do 100 other things that are associated with just running the business. So a day in a life for me, a typical day, honestly, starts at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I get up and I go to my full-time job. So I have a full-time 9 to 5 job. So I go there and I work. I do my work. And then I leave. Now, mind you, I live in Atlanta. Oh, excuse me. I live in Gwinnett County. I work in Atlanta. So I fight that traffic on the way down, and then I fight that traffic on the way back. And then I usually get to Spice probably around maybe 4 o'clock, just depending on the day. And I start making my phone calls, calling back students or people that have called and left messages throughout the day. I'll call them back, check the emails, make sure, people that want to come here, if they have any inquiries, I'll respond to inquiries. Then I'll do some cleaning. I clean up. I'll refill things. What else? Just whatever needs to be done to kind of set up the studio. That's kind of my big thing, just earlier in the evening before classes start. Once classes start, if I'm teaching, then I'm teaching. Now I'm instructor Jackie. I take off my entrepreneur hat. I put on my sexy instructor hat and I teach class. I help students. But because I am the owner, I never just get to be an instructor. So when I come to the studio, I teach, and then after I teach, I'm answering questions, I'm helping people with their account, I'm talking about the next thing that's coming up, and honestly, I love every aspect of what I do. I love all the things. So I usually leave here, typically I'll try to teach 2 classes. Sometimes I'll teach 1 class, it just depends, but I usually leave here no earlier than, I'd say, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, just sometimes later than that, depending on the day. And then I go home and I try to do some admin, try to do some admin things. If not, I go to sleep and I get up and do it all over again. So we've been open for about 1.5 years. And for the first year we were open, that was my pretty much every day. Now we're a little bit more established. We've got our processes together. I have great instructors. I have great desk staff. I have so much help. So a little bit of that is kind of taken off of me. Some of the tasks I don't have to do. I don't have to be as involved now, but it's still my baby. So I have to. I do try to stay pretty involved, and I actually love being here around the students and around the instructors, and just being here. Sometimes I pop in and take a class. So yeah, like I said, I just wanted to open a pole. I just wanted to do pole. That's really all I wanted to do. And now I'm making merch and planning things and being a janitor. So yeah, I do everything.
So in a perfect world, I would be 100% properly prepared for every single class. That's not the case. So just like how we just talked about our day-to-day schedule, it's very, very hard to find time to plan. But I will say that we're starting our new intermediate series first week of January. Yep. Mm-hmm. We just ended a session. We both teach intermediate series. She teaches on Sundays. I teach on Wednesdays. So I do try and prepare for that because it's a progressive 6 weeks with the same ladies and men coming the same time every Wednesday. So for my series, yes, I do try and have a curriculum. I try and have a lesson plan. But one thing that we found is that you can't be married to your curriculum, even in regards to choreo classes where we just teach dance. You can't be married to it because you'll get there and the students will be like, you want us to do what? They're totally not here for it. So we try to plan. We do try and plan, but we also understand we have to be very, very flexible. We got to leave a little space for improvisation. Yeah. Improvisation. That's the word today?
Yeah. I'll say that to me, that is the mark of a really good instructor. When you can say, okay, this is what I wanted to do today, but this is what we're gonna do. Because I've had plenty days where I'm like, ooh, they're about to get it today. I saw this trick on wherever, or I was practicing this, or I went to this workshop and I was so excited about it, and I'm gonna bring it back to the studio and I'm gonna show them. The students will look at you like, we're not doing that.
Silence.
We're not doing
Complete
that.
Silence.
You tried it. So you have to be able to pivot and say, okay, we're not doing that anymore. But how can we get into it without getting into it? How can we build up to it? And that's where our own personal training comes in, because if all you do is train your lesson plan, that pivot's going to be real hard. So that's why we're always going to workshops. Like Zen and I are going to retreat. Yeah. I'm sorry. Cayman Islands. I got really excited. But we're going to Cayman Islands for Black Girls Pole Retreat. And it is a advanced retreat for advanced polers, and we're going to be practicing and learning new things. And that's what it takes to be a really good instructor, like really investing in your craft. And you got to be able to bring stuff to class, but then when they're like, you know the face. Oh,
you'll demonstrate. It'll be dead silent in the room. And I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do, okay?
It'll be a hard no.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to mix it up. So that's where the training comes. The training, just keeping yourself up to a certain level really does come in handy.
I'm Zen Oasis, and this is the Jade split. Breaking down the Jade. The Jade is one of the first pole splits that you would learn once you are an advanced beginner or an intermediate student. In order to successfully execute a Jade, you would need to have an invert, and you would also need an outside leg hang. Levels of flexibility vary in this split. I'm a little more flexible, but if you have your invert and your outside leg hang, anybody can execute this split. So let's break it down. I'm going to start in my invert. I like to invert on this side, so I'm going to have my right side close to the pole. My right arm is going to grab here. Now, a point of contact is under my armpit. That's going to help me pull my body up to where I don't have to muscle myself up. Now, my outside arm, which is my left, is going to come above. I need just enough room to kind of stick my head through. And from here, I'm going to have hips forward. I'm going to lift, invert. So from there, I'm going to hook my outside leg into my outside leg in. From there, I'm going to take my inside leg. It has to swing around and grip the pole in this thigh crease. That is a major point of contact. Another point of contact is going to be behind my right shoulder here. Once I brought my leg in, I'm going to take my left hand and grab at my right leg, and I'm pulling now my right leg down and into the pole. My right arm is going to go here. We call this a tabletop. It's going to tabletop on the booty. And here, I'm not just holding my hand here. I'm also pressing this right arm into the pole for another point of contact. Once I'm here, I feel great. I feel secure. I'm locked in. I can slowly lift this left leg. I still feel good. And I'm going to drop it back, turning my hips now toward my right arm, and I'm in my Jade. To get out of it, we rehook. You can pull the body back up, straddle, release down nice and slow. If you are not yet inverting successfully, another way to get into the Jade split is to just take the climb up. And from there, I would hook, and I'm here. This is a way a lot of ladies and gentlemen, because we have men that pole here as well. If they haven't quite successfully gotten their invert, they'll go from here, they'll hook, and now we're in the same setup that we were upside down for our Jade split.
I am going to show you guys the fireman spin. It is the first spin that you'll probably learn along your pole journey. It's perfect for somebody who's fresh off the streets who just wants to learn something really quick. So I'm going to demonstrate it and then we'll talk about it. And I stand up sexy. That's very important. All right, so let's start this move. I'm going to start with my right hand on the pole, and the left hand is going to come across the chest. The right hand you want to pull, the left hand you want to push. Make sure you're not too close to the pole. A lot of times with beginners, they want to be really, really close because you think you're going to fall. But you really want to take this step away from the pole, give yourself about a foot and a half away, and then start your spin. So I'm going to step with my right foot. This is my inside leg. If I'm facing, just facing the mirror here. This is my inside leg. This is my outside leg. This is my inside arm and my outside arm. So inside leg is going to step. Left hand is across the chest. I'm going to take my left foot, swing, and hook behind the pole or in the front of the pole with my ankle. So let's try that again. Swing and hook. One more time. Swing and hook. When I teach this move, I literally have people swinging and hooking at least 3 or 4 times just so you build up that muscle memory. So once I've hooked the outside leg or my left leg, I'm going to let my weight shift towards the mirror. Now as my weight shifts, that right foot's going to come off of the floor. When the right foot is ready to come off the floor, I'm going to take it to the pole. Forefoot is going to hook. So the top of my foot's going to hook in the back of the pole and the knee's coming to the opposite side. That's very important. You want to make sure the knee and the foot are not on the same side or you don't really have a hook there. So you can flex the toes today, but later you want to start working on pointing those toes down towards the floor and making sure you're pressing in with the knee. All right? So let's put this all together. Right hand high, left hand across the chest. Step with the inside foot, swing the outside foot, pick up that right foot, bring it behind the pole. Step. This is the most important part of this move. You want to go face down, booty up, tuck your chin to your chest, whip the hair, outline all the way up the leg so you get up sexy. Don't ever get up like this. All right? All right, one more time. Fireman spin. I'm going to walk into it, get my knife, Step, 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 swing, hook, drop, get up 6. I feel like with competition, the biggest thing is performance value. Like always remembering that you're getting up there and you're performing. It's not just, okay, let me do this trick, let me get this trick, let me do this move, or let me showcase this particular skill. You're still presenting an art to an audience that may or may not do pole. Now the judges do pole, but they want to be entertained too. So literally these judges have been looking and watching pole performances all day long, or for at least an hour to 2 hours at a time. They want to see something that's going to make them go, oh, excuse me, okay. So I think that's the biggest thing to remember when you're competing. Then also, you have to have the skills. I'll let Zen talk about that one. Having the skills.
So in competition, so I always say competition is for everybody. It's for any skill level. They have multiple levels. So from people who are off the street who can only execute a fireman spin, there is a category for you. True. To people like Jackie and I who are just about professional level, categories for us as well. So yeah, there are different categories, and there are also different, what do you want to call it? Different levels, different styles.
Yeah.
So Jackie, she loves to dance in heels. Her style is more exotic. So competing exotic, right? See, they're looking for all of that. They're looking for all of that with exotic. They're looking for her heel work. They're looking for her dancing on her toes and her shoes. They're looking for fluidity. They're looking for sexy. Myself, I compete in a category called championship, which is judged on a more technical scale. So they're looking for clean lines, which is my legs being straight, my feet being pointed. They want to make sure I'm executing my moves correctly. They're looking for difficulty in my moves. In other categories, they aren't necessarily looking for difficulty. So it depends. It depends on where you want to go with your pole journey, because you'll have a category called entertainment. Mm-hmm. It's not exotic, but it's also not championship, but it's for people who want to get up there and maybe dress as Michael Jackson and dance to beat it, or and they're just, or be a T-Rex on stage. Yeah. We're looking to have fun, showcase what they do know. It's not very technical. You just get up there, have a good time, show what you know, and kill it. They're just looking to be wowed in competition, no matter what category or level. Yeah, performing at. People are always so surprised. Well, people who who aren't in the pole community are always so surprised when I tell them that pole is not black at all. Like on the competitive scene, people that look like us, it's not. And especially not even saying this in a bragging way or anything like that, but people on our skill level that look like us, then that's a no. Yeah, you don't see it at all. So being here at Spice now, this is the place to be. Yeah. To kind of get where we are, we definitely have a different way of looking at training just in general, because we compete and because there aren't a lot of women that look like us on stage. Mm-hmm.
And really, I know I was surprised when I first started doing pole. I thought it was all like strippers and we're gonna be having a good time. And I quickly learned it is a sport. Like, this is a sport. And the same issues that black women may have doing something like just going to the gym, or going to a kickboxing class where you have to deal with the hair, or just having the hair struggle period, being like, okay, I can't go to poles, I might sweat my hair out or whatever. Like, those issues do still come into our community. And so I think, like Zen was saying, you're really at the higher levels, you're not really gonna see a lot of us, because we're still, I think as a community, we're still trying to get to the point where exercise, health and wellness is really like woven into our lifestyle. Mm-hmm.
And this is a lifestyle.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So unfortunately, we don't see a lot of that. But because we are in Atlanta, when the competition that we do, they do have a Atlanta-based competition. So you are going to see more brown faces than probably if you were in like Denver, right, or Boston.
They go to Seattle, like
yeah. So, but yeah, in Southern, you are going to see a lot more brown faces, and that's really cool. So we do classes 7 days a week. We do have holidays off and things like that, but for the most part, you call us, we're here. So those are just our regular drop-in classes where we're learning choreography, we're learning how to flow, we're learning tricks, we're learning all the things, 7 days a week. Then we have the parties. So the drop-in classes are more so for students that have decided pole is my life now. Like I'm here,
Right.
This is what I'm doing, this is my workout. Those are the students that we see most of the time throughout the week. After hours, we do host parties, and those are for the ladies who are like, I'm doing a pole class on Saturday. You know, they get their girlfriends together. They probably have never poled before. They're kind of nervous. They're like, oh my gosh. And so it's kind of scratching that itch. They just want to be around a pole. You know, they want to learn how to dance, but they may not be ready to take that full step into doing the 7 days a week thing. So the parties are a ton of fun because most women that we see are moms, they're professionals, they're students, yes, grandmothers, like aunties. I mean, it runs the gamut. And then we have guys too. But most of these people have never touched a pole before, and they're ashamed to even say that they are touching a pole. So a lot of what we do in the parties is just getting them used to like touch yourself. It's okay. Like it's okay to move your hips. I tell them all the time, if you watch RuPaul's Drag Race, you got people spending thousands of dollars to look like what you look like naturally. So move your hips, celebrate your body, celebrate your sensuality, celebrate your femininity, and yes, and let's have a good time with it. So that's what we do in the parties. And then we also host showcases where the students, so our 7 day a weekers, they can actually highlight what they've been learning. We try to do one once a quarter, so they can highlight what they've been learning and show off for an audience. Our last little showcase, gosh, how many people were here?
It had to be like 70 people, 60, 70 people in this room.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was amazing. So it's high energy. We're all celebrating each other. The difference between, I would say, pole and like probably other sports. Well, no, not other sports, because other sports people are like, yeah. But with pole, like we really are like cat calling and you know, we're like, yes, bitch. I'm sorry. You know, like we really get kind of not aggressive, but we're serious about letting you know, like you are killing it right now. Like
I wanted to say fucking it up.
Yes. But those are the type of words that we use. We use a lot of expletives to celebrate. Yes, like we are very happy with what we're seeing right now. And it's just all love. So
I mean, it's just like if you aren't going to be celebrated anywhere else, you're going to be celebrated here. No matter what you look like, no matter what you think your body looks like, no matter how you feel about yourself. Period. If you want to come be celebrated somewhere, I don't care if you do this.
Yeah.
All of it. Yes.
All of it. Yeah. No matter how big, small, tall, how long you've been poling, everything is yes. So if you are interested in taking some pole dancing classes, we are actually located in Duluth, Georgia, which is Gwinnett County. Yes, it's outside of 285. I already know for you city dwellers, but it's not a bad drive, and we're right off of the highway. So come and see us. If you are just interested in seeing what we do before you come up here, or if you're local, just come on down the street. Then you can check us out at The Spice Pole Fitness on Instagram or Spice Pole and Aerial Fitness on Facebook. Aerial is spelled AERIAL. I had to look at the sign, but it's Spice Pole and Aerial Fitness. If you are interested in following me on Instagram, I am Spicy, SPICY, Niyah, NIYAH. You can follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, Niyah Marie. We look forward to seeing you. We're all about taking on new journeys and seeing results, finding a workout that actually works for you. Even though we do have male students, we really focus on getting women in here, getting results, getting their bodies more flexible, more getting stronger. Like, we really want you to see results here. So we're not, yes, you are gonna learn how to flip your hair. Yes, you are gonna be rolling around on the floor looking like a sexy beast, but we also want you to actually be happy and confident with where your body is. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you. And of course, you can always reach me on Instagram or Facebook, shoot me a DM, and I will respond.